Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Krishna Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Ram Ram, Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Hare, oh. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Bolo Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Bolo Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, 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 Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare. Bolo Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare
Gone
রাধা শ্যামা সুন্দর রাধা শ্যামা সুন্দর রাধে জয় কৃষ্ণ বলরাম কৃষ্ণ বলরাম কৃষ্ণ বলরাম জয় কৃষ্ণ বলরাম জয় কৃষ্ণ বলরাম কৃষ্ণ বলরাম কৃষ্ণ বলরাম জয় কৃষ্ণ বলরাম জয় গৌরনিতায় জয় গৌরনিতায় গৌরনিতায় জয় গৌরনিতায় জয় জয় প্রভুপাদ 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 জয় জয় প্রভুপাদ জয় শ্রী প্রভুপাদ দেখি শ্রী গুরু চরণা পদ্মা কেবল ভক্তি সদময় শ্রী গুরু চরণা পদ্মা কেবল ভক্তি সদময় বন্দময়ী সাবধান মতে বন্দময়ী সাবধান মতে যাহার প্রসাদে ভাই ভবত রিয়া যায় যাহার প্রসাদ যাহার প্রসাদে ভাই এ ভবত রিয়া যায় যাহার প্রসাদে হরে কৃষ্ণ প্রাপ্তি হয় যাহা হতে কৃষ্ণ প্রাপ্তি হয় যাহা হতে কৃষ্ণ প্রাপ্তি হয় যাহা হতে কৃষ্ণ প্রাপ্তি হয় যাহা আরে গুরু মুখ পদ্ম বাক্য চিত্তে তে করি যায় গুরু মুখ পদ্ম গুরু মুখ পদ্ম বাক্য চিত্তে তে করি যায় গুরু চিত্তে তে করিয়া ও আর না করিহ মনে আশা, আর না করিহ মনে, আর না করিহ মনে আশা, আর না করি। আরে সে গর চরণের রতি, এই সেই উত্তম গতি, সে গর আরে সে গর চরণের রতি, এই সেই উত্তম গতি, এই সেই উত্তম। আর যে প্রসাদে পুরে সর্বয়াশা, যে প্রসাদে পুরে সর্বয়াশা, যে প্রসাদে পুরে সর্ব। আর চক্ষু দান দিল যেই জন্মে জন্মে প্রভু, সে চক্ষু দান, চক্ষু দান দিল যেই জন্মে জন্মে প্রভু, সে দিব্য জ্ঞান হৃদে প্রকাশিত। আরে প্রেম ভক্তি যাহা হতে অবিদ্যা বিনাশ যাতে, আরে বেদে গায়ে যাহার চরিত, বেদে গায়ে যাহার চরিত, আরে বেদে গায়ে যাহার চরিত। আর সে গৌর করুণা সিন্ধু, অধম জনার বন্ধু, সে গৌর। আরে প্রভু পাদ করুণা সিন্ধু, অধম জনার বন্ধু, প্রভু পাদ করুণা সিন্ধু, অধম জনার। আর লোকনাথ লোকের জীবন, লোকনাথ লোকের জীবন, আর লোকনা লোকের জীবন, লোকনা লোকের জীবন। বলো হাহা প্রভু কর দয়া, দেহ মোরে পদ ছায়া, হাহা। আর হাহা প্রভু কর দয়া, দেহ মোরে পদ ছায়া। আর প্রভু কর দয়া, দেহ মোরে পদ ছায়া, প্রভু কর দয়া, দেহ মোরে পদ। এবে যশ ঘোষ ত্রিভুবন, এবে যশ ঘোষ ত্রিভুবন, আরে এবে যশ ঘোষ ত্রিভুবন। জয় প্রভু পাদ, জয় প্রভু পাদ, প্রভু পাদ, জয় প্রভু পাদ। জয় গুরুদেব, জয় গুরুদেব, গুরুদেব জয় গুরুদেব। নমঃ বিষ্ণুপাদায় কৃষ্ণপৃষ্ঠায় ভূতলে শ্রীমতে Bhakti-vedanta Swamini-te navidena. Habe na parikrama kara? Krishna Krishnaya Namaste Saraswati Deve Gautamani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavade Paschatya Desha Tarine. Namaste Saraswati Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavade. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasade Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Sri Prabhu Nityananda Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Sri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasade Gaura Bhakta Vrinda. Jaya Sri Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Krishna Krishna Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare Bolo Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare Hare Oh Hare Rama Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Ram Ram Hare 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 Rama Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama Hare Rama 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 Hare Hare Bolo Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram Ram Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare Bolo Hare Krishna Hare Ram 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 Bolo Hare Krishna Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare 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 Krishna 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 Hare Krishna Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Rama, Rama Ram, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Hare.
Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Jai Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Ranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Gopi Janavallabha Girivaradhari Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Yashodanandana Braja Janaranjana Jamunatira Vanachari Jamunatira Vanachari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jaya Radha Madhava Kunja Vihari Jai Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram Jai Gauranitai, 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Lalita Vishaka Jaya Radhe Sham, Lalita Vishaka Jaya Radhe Sham. Jai Radha Shama Sundar Radha Shama Sundar Radhe Prabhupada, 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 Jai Jai Prabhupada Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Prabhupada Jai Srila Prabhupada Nitai Gaur Haribo, 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 Nitai Gaur Haribo. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. So reading Srimad Bhagvatam, Canto 10. Chapter 16. Krishna chastises the the serpent Kaliya. So I'm doing 12 to 16? So I'll read from 12 to 15 and we'll do 16 together. Atabraje mahotpatas trividha yati daruna utpetur bhuvi divyatman asana bhava sangsanaha. In the Vrindavan area, there then arose all three types of fearful omens: those on the earth, those in the sky, and those in bodies of living creatures, which announced imminent danger. Purport. According to Srila Sridhar Swami, the omens were as follows. On the earth, there were disturbing tremors. In the sky, there were meteors falling. In the bodies of creatures, there was shivering, as well as quivering of the left eye and other parts of the body. These omens announce imminent danger. Tan alakshya bayodvigya gopananda purogama Vinaramena ga Krishnam gyatva charayatungatam tyar dur mitar nindhanam matva praptam atadvidha tat pranastan manaskaste dukkha shoka bayaturaham abala vridha vanita sarvenga Pashu Vrittaya Nirgamur Golokad Dina Krishna Darshana Lalasaha. Seeing the inauspicious omens, Nanda Maharaj and the other cowherd men were fearful, for they knew that Krishna had gone to herd the cows that day without his elder brother, Balaram. Because they had dedicated their minds to Krishna, accepting him as their very life, they were unaware of his great power and opulence. Thus they concluded that the inauspicious omens indicated he had met with death, and they were overwhelmed with grief, lamentation, and fear. All the inhabitants of Vrindavan, including the children, women, and elderly persons, thought of Krishna just as a cow thinks of her helpless young calf. And thus these poor, suffering people rushed out of the village, intent upon finding him. So text 16, we'll do it together. Tangstata kataran vikshya Bhagavan Madhavo Balaha Prahasya Kinchin Novacha Prabhavagyo nujasya saha Tangstata kataran vikshya Bhagavan Madhavo Balaha Prahasya kinchid novacha Prabhavagyo nujasya saha Tangstata kataran vikshya Bhagavan Madhavo Balaha Prahasya kinchid novacha Prabhavagyo nujasya saha Vikshya Bhagavan Madhavo Balaha Prahasya kinchid novacha Prabhavagyo jasyata. Matajis Tangstata ranviksha them. Tata, in such a condition. Kataran, distressed. Vikshya, seeing. Bhagavan, the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Madhava, the Master of all mystic knowledge. Balaha, Lord Balaram. Prahasya, gently smiling. Kinchit, anything at all. Na, did not. Uvacha, say. Prabhavagya, knowing the power. Anujasya, of his younger brother. Saha, he. Translation, purport by the followers of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai. The Supreme Lord Balaram, the Master of all transcendental knowledge, smiled and said nothing when he saw the residents of Vrindavan in such distress, since he understood the extraordinary power of his younger brother. Responsively, the Supreme Lord Balaram, the Master of all transcendental knowledge, smiled and said nothing when he saw the residents of Vrindavan in such distress, since he understood the extraordinary power of his younger brother. Purport: Sri Balaram is the plenary expansion of Lord Krishna and is thus non-different from him. They are, in fact, the same absolute truth manifest in separate forms. According to Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, Lord Balaram was laughing because he thought, Krishna never cares to play with me in my form of Shesha Naga, but now he's playing with this ordinary mundane snake named Kaliya. The question may arise as to why Krishna and Balaram allowed their loving devotees to suffer such great anguish during Krishna's temporary imprisonment within the coils of Kaliya. It must be remembered that because the inhabitants of Vrindavan were completely liberated souls, they did not experience material emotions. When they saw their beloved Krishna in apparent danger, their love for him intensified to the highest degree, and thus they merged completely into the ecstasy of love for him. The whole situation has to be seen from the spiritual point of view, or it will not be seen at all. Om Jnana Timarandasya Gyananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Jena Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha Namaom Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pristaya Bhutale Srimate Bhakti Vedanta Swaminiti Namane Namaste Saraswati Deve Gauravani Pacharane Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschacha Deshatarane. Hare Krishna. So we're hearing the beautiful pastimes of Krishna. After all the killing of the various demons, especially Dhenuka, on their way home, they were greeted by all the gopis who were anticipating their arrival after a long day in the forest, performing all kinds of incredible activities. And Krishna could appreciate the loving reciprocation of the cowherd boys, especially the gopis. And Mother Yashoda and Rohini were anxiously waiting for Krishna and Balaram. Give them good bath, nice prasad, dress them nicely after a long day out. So they're all very much loving to come to that platform of spontaneous love that one's every thought or every desire is how to please Krishna, worrying about his comfort, can't wait to see him in anticipation of love. It's a very high platform. Most of us are conditioned in this material world, looking what is in it for me? Like you ask somebody to do something. What's in it for me? What do I get in return for my service or for my exertion? So Krishna got up early. We took all the cowherd boys to the Jamuna, and we see that all the boys were thirsty, the cows were thirsty. They drank the water of the Jamuna, but unfortunately, Kaliya, who was living in a lake adjacent to the Jamuna, but the whole thing was poisonous, the lake. But somehow now he spread that poison in the Jamuna River. So Krishna, performing that pastime, when the boys and the calves and cows drank that water, they actually died, lost their consciousness. And Krishna, out of his mercy, just glanced over them and brought them all back to life. And they were all bewildered, thinking, how wonderful is Krishna? Because, who can do such a thing? So Krishna, as we heard in previous classes, he got up on was it Tamal tree? Or Kadamba tree? Kadamba tree. Tightened his belt, fixed his hair and everything, make sure he's in good shape, jumped into the Jamuna and started splashing. And his splashing of the waters was creating musical sound vibrations, beautiful sound vibrations. And then all the snakes and the friends of Kaliya, they got all very jealous and envious. And when Kaliya understood someone's encroaching on my territory, became furious, and so immediately attacked Krishna, bit him in the chest, and coiled him. So you can imagine, it says that all the cowherd boys and even the farmers who loved Krishna, they all just fainted, just fell down, fainted. They thought this huge snake just bit my Lord in the chest and coiled him in his coils. And all the cows and calves were just stunned, thinking out of feeling of love and affection. Then all these omens, all these indications that there was meteors, and the left side of the arm was twitching in the animals and different creatures, and anyway, different indications that something really, really bad is happening. So naturally, Mother Yashoda, Nanda Maharaj, and all the cowherd seniors, they come rushing. They were following Krishna's lotus footprints. But you see, there's so many footprints of cows and so many boys, and the question is, well, why wasn't Krishna's footprints covered? Because everybody is very, very careful and respectful of Krishna's lotus footprints, especially in Braj. They don't want to cover up this divine lotus feet. So they followed Krishna to the bank of the Jamuna. And when they saw Krishna encoiled in Kaliya's grip, and all the boys are fainted and everybody is just stunned, it says here that their emotions completely out of fear, but it's not a mundane fear. It's due to absorption and love for Krishna that they felt some very exquisite ecstasy. But they also were fainting. They wanted to enter the waters. They figured, what good is life if Krishna is gone in the clutches of Kaliya? What good is my life living without Krishna? But Balaram, being non-different than Krishna, being the absolute truth, difficult to understand how Krishna has multiple personalities, but he's still the same Supreme Person, that Balaram is Krishna, Srimati Radharani is Krishna, so many forms of the Supreme Lord. Although different incarnations perform different pastimes and have different relationships with those who worship them. Krishna appears in different forms and performs different activities in reciprocation of his devotees' love for him. So it's actually very rare that Krishna and Balaram appear. There are so many incarnations, thousands, millions, billions, unlimited incarnations are there. Some of the prominent ones have been described in the scriptures. But here we're hearing about Krishna's pastimes in Vrindavan, purifying this Kaliya, and we'll hear later how it is that Kaliya, although has a demonic form, also must have performed some very auspicious activities to have the Lord dancing on his head. Who is that fortunate to have the Lord lotus feet on your head? People, we pray for that. You want to grab the lotus feet and put them to the head. Many pastimes of Lord Chaitanya in the Chaitanya Leela. Now Gaur Purnima is coming. The Supreme Lord Krishna again appeared in a very, very merciful, most merciful incarnation. And devotees are having loving exchanges with the Lord. So the whole 10th canto, glorifying Krishna, Krishna's devotees, but in order to come to this platform, one must be very fortunate. Bahunang jamanamante jnanavan mang prapajate vasudeva sarvamiti samahatma sudurlabhan. After many, many births and deaths, one has an opportunity to take up this devotional service. Because generally people are mental speculators. So many books of knowledge, this philosopher, that philosopher, so many angles. What is the absolute truth? What is the goal of life? So people are mesmerized by the thoughts of Darwin and so many big philosophers. But if the description of the Lord, pastimes in the process of devotional service is not described then it's considered useless literature, because the ultimate end, after so much study and so many degrees, PhDs, and so much accumulation of wealth, Mrityu Sarva Haras Chaham, that Krishna comes in the form of death and takes away all your erudite scholarship, all your lectures on how God is nothing and everything just come about by chance combination of chemicals, or some other theory. There are many philosophies, many theories, and we're very fortunate that Vyasadeva, understanding Kali Yuga is coming, that people are very slow in spiritual understanding. They're never going to understand the essential message of the Guru of how to perfect their lives. We have to write it down. We have to document the process of devotional service. What are the allurements of Maya? We all know the allurements of Maya. We very much have been trying to enjoy the allurements of trying to enjoy sense gratification. It says, desire and lamentation. We're trying to accumulate money and perform our so-called religious duties ritualistically, so that the Lord is happy to give us more money and more health so we can enjoy in this world, or go to heaven, enjoy, or do different, go to the spiritual world is not on our forefront in our mind. But when one is frustrated, like Arjuna, showing the example of one bewildered as to what to do in life, he approached Krishna. He approached Krishna and surrendered to Krishna. So this is our very first business. Tad vidi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya upadekshanti te jnanam jnanas tattva darshana. If it wasn't for the efforts of the six Goswamis, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who destroyed the concept that only one born in a Brahmana family can take up the principles of Vaishnava to become a Brahmana, or to even engage himself in spiritual activities. One needs to be born in a high family, almost like Dhruva Maharaj. His stepmother said, "You can't sit on the lap of the king because you were not born from my womb. You need to come back, take birth from me, then you can sit on the lap of the king." So many, after the disappearance of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Lord Nityananda, the Goswamis, some of them made a monopoly of that only if you're born in the Goswami family or part of the cult, you can't take up the process of devotional service. But Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati defeated, based on the teachings of Sanatana and Rupa Goswami and Lord Chaitanya's principles, that anyone, Kiba Vipra Kibra Nashi Shudra Kene no Ye Krishna Tattva Veta Se Guru Hoy. When Ramananda Roy was reluctant to speak to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is sannyasi, very learned, Nimai Pandit, and he felt, I'm a government servant, born in a Shudra family, what can I tell a nice sannyasi? But Chaitanya Mahaprabhu dismissed that. He quoted that whether you're a Shudra, a Brahmana, if one knows the science of Krishna consciousness, he takes shelter of a bona fide spiritual master. But that doesn't end that, oh yes, I have my initiation, or I have my Brahmin thread, now I'm okay. No, we actually have to follow the rules and regulations of Scripture. And not only follow, but one who takes initiation and hears from the Guru, then he has to do something. We were hearing yesterday, Gopal Prabhu was emphasizing that we actually have to do something for Krishna consciousness in order to satisfy our Guru. You say, I want to please Gurudev. What makes you happy? That you become Krishna conscious. And what does it mean to be Krishna conscious? That means you're following the rules and regulations according to the Pancharatrika Vidhi, Sadhu Shastra Guru, that you're not just creating your own ideas of what is spiritual life, but this Shravanam, Kirtanam, Vishnu becomes prominent. That we're all sitting here to hear about Krishna, Krishna's marvelous pastimes. What is that love that the gopis have for Krishna? What is that love that Mother Yashoda and Nanda Maharaj are experiencing? So to come to that level of devotional service, it takes surrender, and it takes the blessings of the Guru, the blessings of the... We say blessings, but we have to be in the mood of service and pleasing the devotees of the Lord. Because this is the mood of a devotee. He wants to spread Krishna consciousness because he feels great compassion for the suffering of all living entities. We're not on that platform of spontaneous compassion or let me perform great austerities. We've seen some of the austerities, especially in the early days. There was no money, and there may have not been any facility. I'm sure the hot water tank wasn't working properly. You had to take a cold shower and get up early. And many traveling Sankirtan days, you're in a van with books and sometimes sleeping in the cold or taking shower bucket from the little river or stream, whatever it might be. But austerities, which came along with our enthusiasm to please Prabhupada, is out of gratitude and mercy of the spiritual master, that we're willing to accept things which we normally would not accept because of sense gratification. What is that? Matra sparshasta kaunteya shitoshna sukha dukkada. That during the heat, when it's really, really hot, still they cook in the kitchen. And when it's really, really cold, you still take your bath, as long as the heater's working, right? But these austerities, little performance of austerity, is good and healthy. But it's not like we're going to, just like every living being is obligated and has a debt to the demigods, to the forefathers, to the family, even described to the animals. And the sun is providing sunlight, there's wind, there's water, there's air, everything is being supplied. And the parents are providing the body, which is very instrumental for stopping the cycle of birth and death. Because until people take the importance of not wasting the human form of life, that okay, it doesn't matter, we can just follow this philosophy or this religion or that religion. The important thing is just be happy. But there's no happiness in this world, because ultimately everyone is forced to grow old, they're forced to get diseased and die. Even demigods who live many, many years, there's still that fear. So Krishna, he's coming again and again, and he's here in the form of the Bhagavatam. They say that, not they say, it is that the great sages of Naimisharanya, when asked, oh, now Krishna is gone, what are we going to do? No, this Bhagavatam is the incarnation of the Lord. You know, we worship the Bhagavatam. We glorify the Bhagavatam because it's full of nectarine messages of the Godhead, His beauty, His activities, His loving exchanges with His devotees. So we have to spend our time, not waste our time and simply, oh, it's so much philosophy, got to sit in the, Guru Puja in class. I could be out making money, It's more profitable. Why sit around just all day long chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. What is the benefit of sitting around just chanting all day? But it's mysterious, it's mystical, because the Lord is in the sound vibrations. Krishna's everywhere. But special potency is given in this age. Every age the Maha Mantra is very, very powerful. But most people are restless and they're simply interested in their own gratification. And they're not really interested to serve the Guru. They'll serve the Guru if it benefits them. Well, yes, let us serve God, but what's in it for me? But the causeless or the selfless service of the gopis. Who told the story when Krishna had a headache? He was asking for the dust of the feet of the gopis. No, the gopis gave willingly, but somebody wouldn't give. Huh? Yeah, I mean, some of the other devotees of the Lord who are maybe more reverentially like, how can I possibly give the dust of my feet to God? That's not. But the gopis, oh, Krishna has a headache? Here. You know, barrels full, whatever you want for Krishna. They were not interested that people may criticize or my family members may be angry or I have so many obligatory responsibilities, I have to perform this, that activity and this activity in order to fulfill my mission in human life. When one takes up this process of devotional service, surrendering at the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada and his representatives, one is freed of all other obligations. Sarva dharma parityajya mamekam saranam vraja aham tvam sarvapapebhyo mokshayashyami masuchaha. Krishna is instructing, as the Adi Guru, give up all varieties of so-called religion and rituals and all these things, philosophical speculation and karma. I have to, so many sanskaras have to be performed. Not that we don't do, we still follow Garbhodang sanskara, child is born, there are many sanskaras. We follow the teachings of the Goswamis and the Vedic literatures and scriptures. But the essence of it is to enhance our devotional service to Krishna, so we can come to the point of actually surrendering to the Lord. And this surrender comes in the form of more absorption, just like my friend Shruti Kirti Prabhu just came back from America, the land of milk and honey, but it's an impersonal place. There's no happiness and no enjoyment there. You say, oh, I'm so happy to be back in Vrindavan, because the mind is always restless. We're not here in Vrindavan. So many people are struggling in the material world. Doesn't matter which country you're in. There's suffering more in Russia and Ukraine, but not only that, throughout Europe, so many even in our history, we see so much suffering of so many living beings. And that suffering comes about because the whole material world is created, a prison house. What do people do in the prison house? They suffer. First class suffering or third class suffering. We're going on a Ferris wheel. You go into, they have these big, you sit down together in a caged, and sometimes you're down low, sometimes you're midway up, sometimes you get stuck up on top. And we're going Brahma Bhuvanaloka Punaravartano Arjuna, from the highest planet down to the lowest planet, and so many types of bodies, all facilities given by Krishna. Krishna is very kind. He wants us to be happy. Oh, you want to eat stool? Here, take a pig's body. Oh, you want to enjoy like Indra? Yes, go to the heavenly planets. But this is not the conclusion, because ultimately, Mrityu Sarva Haras Chaham, that this death will come upon everyone. And we want to get free from the cycle of samsara. Every morning we're singing Samsara Dava Nalalida Loka. That we're in the forest fire of burning us in this. You can't imagine being burnt alive. You can see it's very painful, very, the mind cannot be even peaceful thinking. So if we're trying to become happy in this world, we're being told that there's no happiness, it's simply an illusion. If one is wandering, walking off into the desert, and I say, look, there's no water there. Well, never mind. I see some reflections of water. So we keep chasing the reflection, we keep chasing the illusion of happiness. So we need to be firmly convinced, vyavasayatmika buddhi reke hakuru nandana, be fixed in our determination that I want to follow Srila Prabhupada and Srila Prabhupada's teachings very sincerely. Difficulties will come because the mind is restless, the senses are restless, the mind's like a driver. If the mind, if we tell, Prabhupada tells a story that you tell the mind, take us to the Hare Krishna temple, and then he takes you there, mind is good. But if the mind says, oh, why you want to go there? Let's go to the club and party. Oh, forcibly it drags one away from the, we know what is right and what should be done, but the uncontrolled mind has ideas of enjoyment and happiness. Of course, it's complicated. Devotional service is not an easy affair. Surrendering to Guru and following rules and regulations, but to live in the society of devotees, to avoid non-devotees, to live in the holy place, to hear Srimad Bhagavatam, to chant the Mahamantra, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hear Krishna's name and pray to Krishna, somehow I've fallen into this ocean of suffering. Please pick me up from this ocean of birth and death and engage me as one of your servants. And even though there are philosophical discussions throughout the Bhagavatam, many beautiful stories of kings being attached to their kingdom, of achieving a very powerful kingdom, like Dhruva Maharaj wanted a kingdom like his father, greater than his father, greater than Lord Brahma. But after meeting Narada Muni and chanting Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya here in Mahavan, he was performing these austerities. After a very short time, 6 months, he had the Darshan of the Lord personally present. And the Lord offered, what benediction I can give you? No, I was looking for broken pieces of glass, but you've given me the most valuable gem, most valuable jewel, and that is your devotional service. Devotees are only looking for unmotivated devotional service. Let me serve you with love. And even great emperors who have wanted to achieve and conquer the whole universe. Bali Maharaj, he defeated all the demigods. The demons became very powerful because of their dedication to Shukracharya, their guru, and Indra insulted Brihaspati, so all the demigods were weakened due to insulting their guru, not respecting their guru. They lost their tejas, their power, and the demons took over. It's not like some religions think that God has actual competitors, that some demon is going to give God a hard time. Krishna creates everything and everyone. He creates the heavenly planets, he creates the hellish planets. He creates the demigods, he creates the demons. Because there are all categories of living beings, from godly to most sinful and demonic. But they're all Krishna's children. They're all part of Krishna. So it's not that Hiranyakashipu or Trinavarta or Putana or Kaliya or any big demons going to kill Krishna. Although out of love, the gopis, the cowherd boys, Nanda Maharaj and Yashoda, even though many times they experienced the godly power of Krishna and Balaram, still, because of their Leela, they wanted to maintain that relationship of love that Mother Yashoda had for Krishna. Krishna is showing the universal form to Mother Yashoda, and she's bewildered. Oh my God, what's happening? Am I going crazy, or is this really happening? And bewildered. And Krishna again allows the Yoga Maya to take its effect so that not to interrupt that loving relationship. So we all have a loving relationship with Krishna. You know, there's devotees of Lord Balaram, devotees of Lord Ramachandra. And devotees don't want to disrupt that relationship, or just go, oh, let me find the best God. Who was it? Bhrigu Muni. They wanted to know who was the most merciful or most tolerant. So he tried Lord Brahma. He agitated his father, Lord Brahma. But Lord Brahma didn't. It's my son. Okay, nonsense. And then Lord Shiva, he said, no, you're his brother. This Lord Shiva is Bhrigu Muni's brother. And so although he went to embrace, Lord Shiva wanted to embrace Bhrigu Muni, he said, no. You're always in the crematorium, you're not really, not clean. And Shiva got very angry. Only Parvati stopped him from really, no brotherly love was there. But then when he approached Vishnu, he immediately kicked him in the chest, and Vishnu and Lakshmi said, oh, did you hurt yourself? Please sit down. And they took care of him very nicely. So the Lord is most merciful. Krishna is very, very kind. If we take one step to Krishna, he takes 10 steps, 1,000,000 steps towards us. So just to make a little endeavor, take advantage, like you're at the right place at the right time. This is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's golden era. Srila Prabhupada's bringing the whole treasure house of all the acharyas, Goswamis. He's giving it to us on a silver platter. The books are there. Even on your iPhone, your iPads, your computers, the message of Godhead is there. It's available. How we can purify the heart, how we can enter into Goloka Vrindavan or go back home. It's not some utopian idea, no one can really achieve it, but all of you can just, we can try, but you'll be disappointed. There's no disappointment. It says everything that we do for Krishna is recorded and accounted. You didn't come from Mangal Arati, it's recorded, it's counted. If we perform selfish, bad activities, it's recorded. Mother Nature is watching, the sunshine is watching, the moonshine. It's not that the criminal thinks, oh, I've gotten away with this criminal act. But also, even those who are philanthropic, altruistic, opening hospitals, feeding the poor, opening up educational institutions, performing a lot of good work, a lot of it's motivated. And that it's not for one who's surrendered to the Lord, washing the Lord dishes in the kitchen, cleaning the floor, he's many times more exalted. Because whether you're dressing the deities or mopping, cleaning the floor, we were talking yesterday about, oh Prabhu, can you give me some devotional service? You get a little bucket and a cloth, and you wipe down Krishna's temple everywhere. And then if the mood is right, Krishna makes arrangements, because Krishna's in our heart. He's guiding us. He's giving us the ability. We can't move our hands. We can't open and close our eyes or hear or see or move our legs or do anything without the mercy of Krishna. So if we make a little endeavor to serve the devotees, to serve Srila Prabhupada's mission by preaching, taking on austerity, being brave, and carrying out the order of the spiritual master. And the other day, the Udupi Maharaj came from Madhvacharya, Ramanujacharya. He's the new Madhvacharya. And we were in front of Srila Prabhupada in the Samadhi. He said, so what motivated you, what's inspired you? And I told him that Prabhupada, there are 4 principles. Preaching is the essence, books are the basis, purity is the force, utility is the principle. So after receiving the Bhagavad-Gita and reading something that we're born in ignorance, but the Guru, spiritual master, is opening our eyes with the torchlight of knowledge. Yes, so we approach. So the books that are being distributed all over the world are the seeds of devotional service and guiding books are the basis, and then preaching is the essence. So we're going to tell everyone that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of God. The spiritual world. You are then you won't have the intelligence. Krishna's giving intelligence. Krishna's giving guidance to how to manage your life in such a way so that you can please your guru, please the devotees, and stay in the company of devotees. This is very important, because by association of Vaishnavas, that gives strength. One little twig you can break, but you bunch many together, not possible. So devotees will help one another in their spirit, because we point out to each other, Prabhu, let's sit in the kirtan, let's chant the holy name, come to the programs, and be enthusiastic about Krishna, not only about how to be happy in my own little world. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. So we have a few minutes if anyone has any questions or comments. Yes, Shriram Pandit Prabhu. You give him the microphone back. Shruta, you said you're going to think of a hard question? I think it's on already.
So the question is, say this...
Come closer, because I think that, no, get up and come closer, because that microphone after a certain period doesn't work unless it's closer to the, go ahead.
Krishna killed so many demons, like even he killed Sishubal, also this but in this case specifically, why did he kill? Was there a specific purpose behind this?
So Krishna killing so many demons, but in this particular case he didn't kill Kaliya. Well, the wives, the Nagapatnis, they're glorifying Krishna very beautifully and said, the rascal deserved to be punished. But if you can be merciful, because obviously he must have performed some auspicious, be kind to your son, your mischievous son, the Kaliya, he can be rectified. So this is the beauty of having a very devoted wife, that she can pray to the Lord, please help my husband. And Krishna listens. It's not like Krishna is impersonal. So this is why that, the son prays for the father, he does different ceremonies. So the Nagapatnis, they made beautiful prayers to the Lord, and Krishna was, pleased and happy that, okay. And then Kali also came to his senses and also surrendered and prayed to the Lord. Just like when Krishna was fighting with Riksharaj, Jambavan? Riksharaj, also another name. But after 28 days of vigorous fighting, you would think, well, he should have just killed them, such fight. But he realized that he's also everyone's a devotee of the Lord. Even the demons are actually devotees of the Lord, but now they're just misled. And Kaliya, part of the Lord's Leela and the prayers of the Nagapatnis, he got off the hook that way. Ishwar Prabhu?
Yeah, and also the fact that footprints of Krishna on his head. Oh. So that's good to me. Goodness.
Yes. Krishna embedded when Krishna was dancing, his feet became all reddish because of all the hard jewels on the hoods of Kaliya, but then he was really pounding down in the imprint of his lotus feet. So Garuda obviously was even worshipping Kaliya for getting such benediction. we shall all be so lucky as get the footprints of Krishna. There, Prabhu.
Just because he was afraid of Garuda, that he might eat it. But in the Puranas we see that Garuda was supposedly the half-brother of Kaliya. So is it a brother eating what you call another brother basically? Right? And Garuda being the, I would say the carrier of Lord Shri Krishna, he would never do that. So why was the reason why Kaliya came to Vrindavan then?
Actually, we're all brothers. We're all brothers and sisters here. So, so Kaliya and Garuda are brothers or half brothers, and they came in different forms. Like Garuda is a big eagle carrier, and his diet was different. And these forms that they've taken are due to their particular desires and activities, and Garuda was blessed to be able to be the carrier of Lord Vishnu. So normally brothers would not, treat each other that way. But like it says here in the last verse, that the whole situation has to be seen from a spiritual point of view. Otherwise, it will not be seen at all. So we might have our own ideas of morality, calculation, proper behavior between siblings, but we've seen many times who was that? Akbar, killed some of his relatives, imprisoned his father who died in prison. So that the behavior in this world is not really clear, but we are all brothers and sisters, and that's a good question. But like I said, you have to see it from a spiritual point of view here. Any other question, comment?
Thank you. Like in the beginning, you said that by pious activities, they got this chance. So what does it mean in pious activities? Like I have different understanding of pious activities.
So pious activities, it's described in many places that, one can be doing, even feeding brahmanas as pious activities, or happen to get the association of a devotee is very, very pious activity, and even doing the opening of hospitals and feeding the poor and these kind of things. It's not the highest level, but these are considered pious activities, which bring one to the more to the mode of goodness, so he becomes more receptive. But sinful activities are taken into account, and pious activities are taken into account. So, just like, who was that? King Nriga, he gave so much charity, and he gave so many cows away in charity that he accumulated a mass amount of pious activities. But he made a mistake somehow or other and angered two brahmanas to the point where they practically cursed him. So when he was asked, you want to enjoy the massive good fortune due to your pious activities, or you want to suffer the sinful activity that was there? He goes, okay, let me get rid of the sinful thing so I can enjoy pious activities. So pious activities come in different degrees. With good intention, you're trying to do good work, and at the same time, people who come to the temple, they accumulate pious activities. They see the Lord, they accumulate pious activities, hearing the holy name. They may not surrender, they may not be on that platform. Just by visiting Sri Vrindavan Dham, you're accumulating a large quantity of pious activities. So unless one has a good stock of pious activities, generally one is not allowed to enter into the devotional service of the Lord. But we've been made fortunate by Prabhupada. You see, even if we have no pious activities, the mercy of the pure devotee is that he he's giving like Namo Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namane Gauratvashe Namaha. He's giving the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu by spreading the Sankirtan mission, making everyone pious, as Lord Chaitanya and all his followers did. Gopal Prabhu, then we can finish.
A little more clarity on your question and much more Prabhu's very nice answer is that the incentive behind performing so-called pious activities, if it's tinged with pratista or some giving in charity with getting recognition and such as this, then it can become impious activity.
This is why you see all those selfies whenever people are getting awards or this and that. They all want to take pictures of them giving something and taking something.
Yes. So one who can do these activities without expectation of anything in return, these are true pious activities.
Maharaj, then that will wrap it up.
The earlier question about somebody asking back.
Yes.
Venerable, can you give some reference to where Garuda is half southern half medium? Can you give a reference?
About?
He was asking the question that they were half brothers and Garuda wanted to eat up his own brothers.
I think it's mentioned somewhere. Do you know where it's mentioned that they were half brothers?
He gives a reference and you can see within the context whether that actually is the case or not.
Right. But I made it simple. I said we have to see it from a spiritual point, otherwise we will not see it at all.
His
So.
question is that he is convinced that that happened, so we need some reference on that. If he gives us a reference on that, then we see what the situation is. Because Garuda is not that kind of person. He's not that kind of personality. So you can give a reference whenever you get it from. Because you just keep hearing what others give a reference and you can look at it in the context. Is that okay?
Thank you.
I'm going to support both of you. There are two words that one is called punya and one is called sukriti. So punya indicates it as an opposite, like punya and papa. So he's using the word punya loosely when he's asking you a question. But then there's another type of piety that doesn't have an opposite, it's an absolute. It is not on the relative platform. So for Prabhupada sometimes use the word like the cowherd boys, they accumulated heaps of pious activities to associate with Krishna. That's not in relation to power or punya. That's in relation to actual sukriti.
Devotion.
So devotion doesn't have an opposite. It's not relative. It is actually absolute. There's a difference.
Just see how amazing Krishna is. He gives us the intellect to be able to philosophize and understand things very deeply. So Maharaj is being empowered to deeply analyze the situation. No, it's very good, Maharaj. No, it's very nice. So, thank you. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Krishna. I made it to that one.